So, as you can see on the screen, this will be our next art project. What we are working with here is Google Drawing. So what I will show you is how to use Google Drawing in order to make cartoon pictures. So as you can see before you on the screen, I've made a Pikachu and a Pichu. So how did I make this, you might be wondering. Did I just outline the Pikachu with my mouse and draw it in? No, actually. So that might look a little bit scary, but I'll deconstruct the Pikachu for you so you can see how it was made. So if I move some things, you can see, oh, the forehead was made with a circle. And then the bottom part of his face was made with an oval. And if we look at other parts, for example, this ear here, if I move it apart, you can see there's multiple parts to the ears. And I've even connected some parts or some shapes. And so I can take it apart, and then this is how I've made a drawing. Is essentially combining shapes together to make a whole picture. So what you guys are going to learn is how to do this on Google Drawing. What we will do is I will ask you, in order to practice using Google Drawing, you will be tasked with copying two simpler Google Drawings. So what I will be asking you to do is make a copy of the sailboat and also make a copy of two ice cream cones. And I want them to be as close as possible so that I know that you guys know how to use Google Drawing. Of course, I'm not going to just give you Google Drawing and let you go at it. I'm going to show you a few tips and tricks on how to go about making shapes, combining them, changing colors, and so on. So let's get started. Okay, so when you are practicing, this will be on your Google Classroom for Art. You will be given a blank Google Drawing. Okay. So I'm going to teach you a few techniques. So the most basic step, as you may have noticed with the other drawings, is making a shape. If you look at the top of your screen here, you will see all the different things you can do. One of these, if you mouse over it, says shape. So if you click the shape, there's actually many different shapes you can use. This will be very important later because you might need to combine different kinds of shapes, not just the boring circles, squares, and so on. There's lots of things to experiment with here. But let's start with a triangle for now. Okay, so you have a triangle and then you just draw it. So if you see, you move your mouse, you can get lots of different sizes. I'll just do this. There's a few things you can change with the shape. So if I click out, you can see there's a black outline and it's a light blue. I can change those things. So for example, perhaps the color, if you noticed, if I click the shape, these things appear. This is all changing the shape. So I can change the color. So let's just pick maybe a red. And then maybe I want to change the outline to a dark blue. Okay. Here's the thing though, I can't really see the outline. So let's click the shape again and you'll notice this. I can change the pixels, meaning the size of the outline. So the more pixels, the bigger the outline will look. So if I put 24, outline looks kind of crazy. So maybe I'll go back to something nicer like 3. Now, you also have the option, as in my drawing, I decided not to use an outline. So what you would do is you could click this and change it to transparent. That means it would not show up. Okay. So now I'm going to make another shape. So let's pick a circle. So or an oval. So if you notice, it's kind of, I want to make a perfect circle. It's a little bit difficult. What I can do to make a perfect circle instead of just trying to eyeball it is press the shift key. If I press the shift key, you'll notice that it becomes perfectly round. This works for any other shape, including squares, triangles, and so on. If you want it to be perfect and not stretched looking, hold the shift key. Okay. Now, again, with these shapes, what you've learned about in other online tools also applies. You can copy and paste them with Control C and then Control V, and then you can get another shape and so on. So something you may have noticed is that when I put in a new shape, it will cover up the ones before it. But what if I wanted this red triangle in front of both of the circles? What I can do is right click. Here you guys will have a bunch of options. When you right click, there's things like order, rotate, and so on. So order is an important one. If you notice, it says bring forward or bring to front. So if I bring forward, it's going to bring it in front of one circle. But if I want it in front of both circles, I can right click again and say bring to front. So this might be important because you might want certain shapes in front of others. So for example, the Pikachu, I want this circle to be in the front of his cheeks because, for example, if I put it behind, you can't see it anymore. Okay, the other thing is, let's say I wanted to make a simple hand. So I'm just going to make a circle, and then I'm going to make the circle as a hand, and then I'll use the rectangle to make a simple arm. So let's say I want this to be my arm. Okay, and then I want to connect it to this circle as a body. Well, it's a bit of a hassle to just keep moving every single individual shape. There's actually a trick where I can put these shapes together. Okay, so you have to hold the Shift key and click both shapes, and then you'll see the box is now covering both shapes. If I right click, I can group them right here. So now they will always be together when I move them around. And of course, if you make a mistake or want to change anything, you can ungroup it and then it will separate. Okay, now that involves the shape tools. Don't forget there's other things here, such as the line tool. So you can also do things like make basic lines, and similar to the shapes, you can change the size, you can change the color. And of course, if you ever make something extra like I did just there, just click it and hit the backspace or delete key. There's all sorts of different lines, so you can play around with them to see what the lines do. Scribble is the one that will let your mouse do some drawing, but of course, drawing with a mouse isn't easy, so it doesn't look the nicest, but if you ever need it, you can use it. And it's also fun because you can, again, change the size and so on. Always remember, if you are done with the lines or done with the shape, you can click this arrow key so that you go back to normal mouse. And then you guys know how to do this, but if you want to change the color of the background, you can always right click, background, and so on. Okay. So again, your challenge is to use all these skills on your own practice with Google Drawing to make an almost perfect copy of the sailboat drawing. And definitely I'm expecting to see the fish with the little lips. And then this ice cream drawing. There's a lot of lines here. Hint, copy and pasting will help you a lot when you make this. So good luck. If you have any questions, please email me or send me a message.